Just the amount of possibilities,
Right.
the endless possibilities
Yeah.
there is in chess, and the amount of complexity there is. I mean, like you can keep learning chess every single day of your entire life. So it's such a beautiful game with endless possibilities.
The youngest, 18, you're only 18, right? I mean, that word comes up all the time. But when you're playing chess, you're not playing against other 18, 19-year-olds. You're playing against very established players in the circuit. You're playing against Magnus Carlsen, Caruana, Nepo, Nakamura. These guys have been around for a very, very long time. Who's your sort of favorite player amongst the crop of players who are already playing, and from the past, do you have any? Does Gukesh watch any of these Netflix documentaries on chess or Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
Or movie on Fischer? How do you feel when you are against these guys, opposite them, like Ding Liren? What do you think of that at all, or that never even enters your sort of mind?
I think one of the core things is being curious and always adding elements to your game. I mean, even Vishy sir, after being what he is for so many years, he still is learning every day, and I think that's a huge inspiration for me.
Because when you use the word kind of starting up, and Alt is a technology platform, and in a sense a startup, and we are also in a way challenging established players in the industry who've been around for decades.
One of the most important things in chess is the pattern recognition. I think the more experienced you get, compared to weaker players, there are less things that a really strong player has to see on the board. It's like you're not seeing all the 32 pieces, but like patterns here and there, and it's pretty much 5 or 6 patterns on the board.
Investing, of course, this is a very common practice. The circle of competence, which Warren Buffett talks about, is just knowing or putting your money or investing people's money in assets that you are familiar with. Chess is a game known for its planning, precision, and accuracy. Usually played under tight time control, it involves continuous and accurate decision making, sometimes under severe time pressure. Hello and welcome to this episode of the PropShare podcast series. Today we have a very, very special guest with us. We are in conversation with Grandmaster Gukesh Dommaraju, who on 12 December 2024 became the youngest world chess champion at just 18 years of age. Gukesh started playing chess at the age of 7 and went on to win the Under-12 title at the World Youth Championship in 2018 and 2019. At the age of just 12, he became the then second youngest grandmaster in the history of the game. Gukesh won the individual gold medal in the last 2 Olympiads and led India to a team bronze in Chennai in 2022 and the gold medal in Budapest in 2024. He emerged victorious in the candidates tournament held in Toronto in 2024, where the top 8 grandmasters vie for the right to challenge the reigning world chess champion. In doing this, he became the youngest ever winner of the candidates tournament. Finally, his crowning achievement came last month when he defeated Ding Liren in the 14th and last game of the championship. Alt Invest is very proud of our association with this incredible athlete. Gukesh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
You're definitely the youngest guest ever that we've had on this show. But of course the most celebrated, so we are very, very happy that you could take the time out to be here with us, so thank you very much for coming. Just to start off with, tell us a bit about how you started playing the game, how you were introduced, your earliest memories.
Yeah, I started playing chess around 7 years of age. I knew about chess because my family members just play it as a board game for fun at home. Yeah, so it was like snake and ladders for us. It was just a game, and I was just curious about the game. I learned the rules, and then I had like camp in my school Velamal Vidyalaya, and there I got introduced to chess, proper chess training, and some of the teachers there, they found out that um, I could be something more serious, and yeah, from there it started. And my earliest memory, uh, I guess the one that has still had an impact on me was watching the 2013 World Championship between Anand sir and Magnus.
Right. So that really sort of you that memory kind of is there when you think about your early sort of chess and childhood memories. And what is it about the game that you like the most? Is it sort of the preparation, the pressure, the decision making? I know that you're really good at looking at a board and calculating the most accurate sort of moves. What about the game really excites you?
I think just the amount of possibilities, the
Right.
endless possibilities
Yeah.
there is in chess, and the amount of complexity there is. I mean, like you can keep learning chess every single day of your
True.
entire life. So it's such a beautiful game with endless possibilities, and every time I see some new concept or a new idea or new move, it's one of the best feelings I
Yeah.
get. So yeah.
So that's something that you really like. I mean, there are millions and billions of combinations, of course, possible in the game, and then you have after the 20th move a novelty that you can always think of, which nobody has thought of before, and the 5 6 moves after that. That's really something that you enjoy in the game. Uh, I mean, whenever someone speaks to you, and I'm sure you've spoken to a lot of people over the last few weeks and months, especially after you won the title. The youngest, 18, you're only 18, right? I mean, that word comes up all the time. But when you're playing chess, you're not playing against other 18, 19-year olds. You're playing against very established players in the circuit. You're playing against Magnus Carlsen, Caruana, Nepo, Nakamura. These guys have been around for a very, very long time, who've been playing for a very long time. Of course, all of them very good chess players, but you are extremely young. You are only 18 years of age. So, how do you feel when you are against, these guys opposite them like Ding Liren? What do you think of that at all, or that never even enters your sort of mind?
No, for sure. When I started playing the elite events, when I was competing regularly against these guys for the first few games, it was tough
Yeah,
because just the level was different
yeah,
compared to open tournaments and
right.
closed tournaments. So it was a bit challenging at the start, but the more I played against them, the more I learned more about myself and how I can adapt myself to the new stage. And uh, yeah, it was basically trial and error. And yeah, now I feel more comfortable playing with these guys. I
Of
compete with
course.
them regularly, so yeah.
And when you are against some of these big guys in a big sort of tense games, what keeps you calm and centered? Is there something, a routine or something that you have? What goes through your mind at that time?
I think yeah, I'm during tournaments. I generally uh, I'm quite strict with my routines. I try to um, be fully focused on the game, and um, yeah, I mean there have been like good habits like yoga, meditation, stuff like this over a long period of time. It has really helped me um, yeah, achieve this emotional stability, which is very important. So,
Right, right. Uh, I mean, it's difficult to compare you, of course, with anybody else. You're in a completely different field. But if cricket is a game that's very popular in India. If you just think about Tendulkar when he was 18, I mean, I remember he scored 100 in the third Test match in Australia back in when he was 18 years of age, and then he scored another one against similar to you, big fast bowlers, like in a very fast sort of pitch, very difficult conditions. Merv Hughes, Craig McDermott, etc. So there are many of these young athletes today coming up who are young in different sports. What kind of advice would you give them when they go and face sort of established players in their sport? Is there something you think that they should do, the preparation or just mentally being sort of strong?
I think it all starts with trusting oneself
Right.
more than anything. obviously to enjoy whatever you're doing at whatever level that you're playing. And I think also it's yeah, it's always good to be more uh, curious about learning about general improvement, and especially people who are just starting to get into the elite level. I think it's important that for like even myself, I keep like telling myself like I even though I'm the world champion, I've only been playing elite events for like 2 years, and
Right.
like there is still a lot of things to learn. And I think one of the core things is being curious and always adding elements to your game, which is yeah, which even Vishy sir like is after being being what he is for so many years, he still is learning every day, and I think that's a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah. That's very interesting because when you use the word kind of starting up, and Alt is a technology platform and in a sense a startup, and we are also in a way challenging established players in the industry who've been around for decades, but in a very different, novel, new way. So the what you just said makes a lot of sense to me. If you continue to keep learning, you challenge the old ways, and you are curious, and you put in the effort, then you can definitely compete with the best and even do better. And 2 years, like you said, 2 years elite events, that's from playing elite events to becoming the world chess champion in 2 years. That's what we would call, in our sort of terminology, blitz scaling, like going very quickly by sort of understanding the fit of our product in the market, and then making sure that you put in the hard work, the curiosity in learning and sort of scaling that part of the business. So that's quite interesting. In chess, I mean, you know this much better than me, but you hear a lot about being in the comfort zone or having your circle of competence, knowing that it's easier to play positions when the player feels more comfortable in knowing and kind of driving the game slowly towards those kind of positions. And uh, is that something that you think is that you do you agree that that is something you also think about?
Yeah, like in general, nowadays it's more harder to get the positions that we want
Yeah,
because the amount of opening information is huge,
yeah.
and at the top everyone is working hard, everyone is staying up to date. So I think it's more about like also being universal and not having this clear strengths everyone has, but also not having clear weaknesses which can be targeted, and just being able to play well in any kind of position. But obviously, when you get the chance, you try to go to something that you will feel comfortable, and your opponent will feel less comfortable.
Especially in the openings or the first part of the game, we saw in some of the games you played very quickly. The first 7, 8, 10 moves, you were very quick, 30 seconds, whereas then you sort of introduced some sort of novelty where the opponent took a lot of time to then adapt to your position, whereas you knew exactly now from here onwards, if he responds, what I'm going to sort of do. It's quite interesting because in investing, of course, this is a very common practice. The circle of competence, which Warren Buffett talks about, is just knowing or putting your money or investing people's money in assets that you are familiar with. You know those assets very well. You've been following them really well. For example, let's just say real estate, and you want to buy a house in Chennai, for example, and you've been following that market for many years. You know where good builders are sort of building those assets, or where the appreciation has been good, or where infrastructure is coming up, the metro, for example, and over the last 15 years. But if someone says invest in Noida, then you might not understand that market very well. So it's not very good to get out of your circle of competence and go to a market where you are not comfortable with. You don't have the information that other people have, and therefore your decisions might not be as optimal as it could have been in, let's say, a market or an asset class that you are familiar with, be it gold or equities or fixed income. So I find that quite interesting that there's a good parallel there. And also, in investing, sort of pattern recognition is something we always look at. Are you able to look at various patterns? And for example, interest rates, and this might be a bit boring for you, but interest rates or inflation or just sort of just manufacturing output, employment, etc. You see all these graphs and numbers over many years, and there's a lot of data around it. And then your job is to sort of look at these and identify the right cycle and crystallize the right investment approach for that market. For example, when the interest rates are really high, you want to invest in rent yielding real estate like commercial offices or retail or warehouse. If it's down, then they are expensive. So is that something, this pattern recognition, that you also see a lot of in chess, like looking at different patterns on the board and seeing where they are going?
Yeah, for sure. One of the most important things in chess is the pattern recognition. I think the more experienced you get, like I mean, compared to weaker players, there are less things that like a really strong player has to see on the board. It's like you're not seeing all the 32 pieces, but like patterns here and there, and it's pretty much 5 or 6 patterns on the board. So um, like you might have seen some kind of formation in some book or some game
Yeah.
while you were studying, and you saw a move that really impressed you, and you when you get the position on the board, that pops up in your mind. So it's to build intuition or calculation, anything in chess, pattern recognition is the key. So
Right, 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 right. It's today, I mean, when you are playing, of course, you are just focused on the board and your opponent and the moves. But when we are watching, we also see the engine, right? The stockfish engine, whichever engine is there, alpha. And we see the engine predicting the move that is the most optimal on this board. And then whether you or your opponent will see that move, whether that's something that you, and of course in most of the cases you do, and that's the brilliance of you or any other grandmaster today, that they are very good at knowing what is the best play at any given point of time against an opponent. But it's also very sort of uh, it feels like someone is always judging you, right? I mean, that there's also, when you are playing, whether it's the right move or not, people are watching to see whether your every move is being watched by millions of people, and the engine is already predicting it, which is very unique in chess. It doesn't happen in any other tournament. It's not like in tennis, when you're about to hit a ball, the engine says you should hit a forehand down the line. It doesn't happen that way. But here there is one move that is the most optimal move, for example, that is possible. How do you feel about this? Do you ever think about this, being judged on your decision by someone else, or you completely sort of take that out of your mind?
that's actually a very interesting question. Like, yeah, now I think about it, no other sport
Yeah.
has this really. So yeah, it's yeah, the computers have changed a lot, and now it's like the engines are just a great training when used right. They are like a great training tool, and they have improved or brought in new concepts of how we think about chess, and that is really nice. And during the game, if I think about the people who are watching, like not really, because obviously they'll, I mean, if we make mistakes, there'll be some people saying something, but like they can't come on the, like they can't play the same way at the board. So I mean, it's nice to know like where you could have improved after the game, and you can analyze this, improve your game. That's a positive. And I'm not really someone who gets affected by what others out of my, like, what are others out of my bubble, yeah, say about my games or about me. So for me, it's not really a problem. But I also know some players who are affected more by it. So yeah, it's also about how you see it, I think.
Right, right. I think that's something that has kept you, and you apart from the others. You're very good at shutting noise out and concentrating on the game and making the best possible moves that you can think of at the moment. But in investing, of course, you're also always judged, not instantaneously like you are in chess, where as soon as you move, it's a good move, very good move, a blunder, or so on. But if you make a wrong, let's say you make a wrong recommendation, or you make a wrong move in buying a stock, let's say Britannia, and it doesn't turn out very well, even though you've done all the research, you feel that the market is good, you feel the product is good, and therefore you should go and buy the stock of this company and you should be able to make some returns for investors, but it doesn't happen. Then that judgment reflects against you, and of course people judge you for that, and then they tell you whether you are a good fund manager or not, and therefore we should, not trust you with our money anymore, we should go somewhere else. So that scrutiny is always there in investing as well. I mean, around the same question, ultimately once you do your calculation, your analysis, you you sort of need to have that conviction, don't you, to make that move. Finally, you have to say, okay, no, this is it. I've seen the 3-4 moves possible here, and this looks like the best sort of move here. Sort of, what do you think in that last moment when you're that conviction that is required to make that move? What goes through your mind at that time, that this is, I've done everything and this is it? Is that what you sort of think about?
Yeah, sometimes in positions you just think for a while and you know that this is the best move, and sometimes, and most of the times, you're not sure which is the best move. And I think those times it's more about like trusting yourself, trusting yourself that trusting your intuition,
Your
trusting your
instincts,
calculation,
yeah, your preparation.
but also knowing that you don't necessarily know for 100% if it's the best move. And I think yeah, pretty much it's the same for everyone. And the one who trusts themselves more is more are like, the better players. You know.
Uh, who's your sort of favorite player amongst the crop of players who are already playing, and from the past? Do you have any player who, let's say from the past first, is there someone you really look up to, or who's your favorite?
Like pure chess terms, I think I've always been fascinated about Fischer,
Yeah.
and then also some stories around him.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I don't know, some mysterious
Yeah. And he used to make some
person for me.
very sort of moves that people had not seen
Yeah, he
before.
was playing at a level which was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So and as a like overall person and as a player, obviously Vishwanathan Anand sir yeah, is and has always been my role model. So.
And amongst the crop of players playing, is there anyone who you really look up to, or you want to? Obviously, you obviously want to beat Magnus Carlsen. I know that, I've read about it. But anyone you think you?
Yeah, Magnus is the best player in the world, and I really respect and I learn a lot from him. It would be, I mean, I have the privilege of competing with him, learning from him. So he's obviously an inspiration to all of us, and the guys who are coming up, a lot of strong players like Alireza, Arjun.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, so many good players.
Does Gukesh watch any of these Netflix documentaries on chess, or Queen's Gambit, or a
Yeah,
movie on Fischer? Do you sort of?
I have watched some. I watched the Queen's Gambit. I watched also one of the Fisher documentaries. I don't
There's
remember
also a
which
movie
one.
about him, Toby
Yeah, the Pawn
Maguire, which is quite
Sacrifice.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was also interesting. But in general, I don't watch too many chess related stuff. So
Of course, that's something that you do all the time. So,
yeah.
and other than chess, what do you do to wind down? When you are not playing chess.
I mostly it's about like some playing some sports or doing some physical activity. I like to play some sports like squash
Okay.
or yoga. I mean, not sport. Yoga is not a sport, but I like to do
Yeah.
physical stuff like.
Right. Right.
Mm,
Because I guess chess is such a mental game, and you're always sort of sitting on the table. You want to also do something physical
yeah,
outside of it. So you play some squash,
yeah,
and do some yoga.
yeah, and also I like to read, mostly non-chess, but
And what kind
yeah,
of what kind of reading do you do? Is it sort of not non-fiction, or
it's
uh,
mostly like I read about people,
right?
people that I uh, mostly like sports autobiographies
Right.
or some people from other fields which I feel curious about. So yeah.
Is there a book you read recently that you'd like to recommend that
Yeah,
our viewers read?
sure. The lockdown or maybe after the lockdown I read Abhinav Bindra's book
All right.
Shortcut History,
Yeah.
which which was really inspiring, and lot of other books. The favorite, I can't really pick one, but
Many.
there are many great books that I've read.
Okay. Finally, where does Gukesh go from here? Now that you become the world champion, you've got to defend the title in 2 years' time. But in between, of course, there are many. We know that you're preparing for the next tournament in the Netherlands in a few weeks, and then there is one more in Norway. There's a big tournament coming up. So, what's your plan for the rest of the year?
Yeah, it's a very fun event, a fun year with a lot of interesting events coming up. My plan will just to be, keep improving myself, keep working hard, staying disciplined, and obviously when you do the right things, the right results will come. But in terms of results, I guess to improve my ratings and um, yeah, and to win many tournaments in the year.
Is there any favorite tournament that you have that you'd like to sort of win that you're looking forward to this year?
In general, I like all the tournaments that I play. Obviously, the next tournament that I'm playing, Tata Steel Masters, is like it's called the Wimbledon of chess. So it's a very traditional event. Last 2 years I played, and now I will play, and it'll be a fun challenge.
Great. Thank you very much for talking to us. It was very fun speaking to you and drawing some parallels with investing and chess and understanding your thought process when you are playing the game. Of course, at such a young age, you've accomplished a lot, but you have many very good years ahead of you. So we wish you all the best in that. And of
Yeah.
course, we are here to support you in whatever you need in any small way we can. And we are very happy with our association, you, of course, your family, and also Westbridge and Waka have done an amazing job with chess athletes in the country, including yourself, and we share that bit of relationship with Westbridge, because we are also sort of part owned by Westbridge, so that's something that's quite interesting. But all the very best, and thank you very much for coming on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for no, thank you for everything. Uh, like, yeah, me and my family, we are very happy to be uh, very happy about this partnership.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much. So that's it. That's Gukesh Dommaraju, World Chess Champion, just 18 years of age. Thank you very much for joining us for this podcast, which is quite different from the ones that we've done. And we hope to see you again next time. Thank you.